Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we're going to be testing out a new team, Skarmory, Lanturn, Haunter. People in the last video said that they wanted me to test out Lanturn, so I thought I'd give it a shot. This team is kind of weak to Mud Boys in the back. And then the thing is with Skarmory, I have a rank 1 Skarmory, so my Skarmory is always going to lose CMP ties. In this case they overcharged. I thought they were going to go for a flash cannon, which actually would have been pretty interesting. And there you go. They wouldn't be at a flash cannon. They'd be close, though. Would they be at one? No. 954. I guess they would be. Anyway, so I'm clearly going to lose this CMP tie. So I'm trying to play it out slightly differently. So I switched to Haunter, hoping to get an energy advantage. They switched to Dugong, which I thought was really interesting. And I would have loved to line up that Dugong versus my Lanturn, but was not the case. And so I'm going to shield. And then I think I'd go for the second Shadow Ball. And then they end up shielding, and I'm not in a great position right now, so I decide to swap in right away to one. I'm eventually going to switch out of this matchup, so I'm looking just to build up a little bit of energy, and I'm okay with this additional Icy Wind to come through. And again, I'm looking to land. There you go. I was thinking about undercharging, but it's quite right. They come into Wish Cash, and this is absolutely terrible for me. And I think I played this out wrong. What I could have done was I could have shielded and then looked to farm down. But my thought was maybe if I land the Hydro Pump on this Wish Cash and a Thunderbolt following, which would actually be impossible to do, then I potentially could win. But really the right strategy would have been to risk that I could survive the Mud Bomb, which is possible, and then land the Hydro Pump along with the Sky Attack. So farm down with, you can see I was one short, but I was going to be one short anyways because there's no way I was going to be able to generate energy fast enough to get there, or actually get to 100 energy. That would leave me at 25, 30, which would be 4, and then the second Mud Bomb is 4. So I don't know if I win the CMP tie versus Wish Cash. I'm sure it's very close. Actually, I can look this up right now. Wish Cash, Lanturn. No, I'd lose the CMP tie. So there wasn't really a feasible way for me to win that match. Okay, and I'm in another Skarmory mirror match. I was like, so again, I'm gonna try the same strategy. Another strategy is to try to catch it with a Lanturn. So this time I decide to hold my energy and then switch out. And they decide to stay in. So I was like, okay, I'm going to Shadow Punch, look to burn the shield. In this case, they let it go. So I thought that was pretty interesting. They come in with the Zoom Roll. And I really debate on which one to do. This case, I go for the bait. They don't shield. So I decide to throw another one. Unfortunately, I don't lose the CMP tie. I just got the energy after the Ice Beam came through. And this is totally fine. I'm going to come back into Lanturn, and here comes Medicham. I don't need too much to beat Lanturn, to beat a Azumarill with Lanturn, so then I'm going to switch out, and then here comes Skarmory. What do I do? So I shield the Power Up Punch, but again, I'm in a very favorable position right now. And they decide to... And I barely get it off. I think a shield comes up, or they let it go. They let it go. So they like their Azumarill's chances with an energy advantage versus my Lanturn. But like with Spark, I'm gonna be able to generate energy quite quickly. And I believe this is a play rough. And then, yeah, again, I'm looking to. I could even potentially farm down. I forget if I hit the second Thunderbolt. So I hit it, and then I'm definitely going to win the race to the charge move. Even in Ice Beam, I'm going to be able to outpace it. And then I was able to land the Thunderbolt, and I would win CMP tie versus a Zoom roll anyways. So GG. I really like Lanturn. Obviously weak to grass, weak to ground. Two pretty like common types because they definitely serve as the anti-meta. Registeel and a Zoom roll. And I'm slowly grinding my. It's gonna be a long grind to get to rank 10. And actually, I don't really know this matchup. That's something I play often. So Jirachi versus Skarmory. So Jirachi wins. Yeah, Jirachi wins in all shield scenarios. So actually, I did not know that. So what did I try to do here? I tried to go for the Flash Cannon, hoping that would be enough to KO. But this looks like a very poor IV Jirachi. And that Flash Cannon, I'm guessing that Flash Cannon actually would have KO'd the Jirachi. It totally looks like it. Because in the sim it shows it survives with 28 HP. So they come in with Venusaur with Razor Leaf, and then I'm gonna look to bait with a Shadow Punch. These Razor Leafs are just absolutely chunking away. And then I'm going to look to land another Shadow Punch. Hopefully this is enough to KO. Venusaur is kind of squishy. And not enough to KO, but the subsequent Shadow Claw is. And then look how amazing this is. Oh man, that's awesome. Because I actually needed every shield. Because that Jirachi had like 100 energy. It would have been really bad. And I actually should have did 2 Thunderbolts. I don't know what I was thinking. Why I did. Because I ended up doing a Thunderbolt again, right? So like 2 Thunderbolts would definitely KO'd. So kind of a weird play on my part. I definitely could have won with 1 less shield if I would have double Thunderbolted. But I felt pretty comfortable, so it wasn't a big deal. Maybe if those were like water guns afterwards, they would do enough damage to KO. But because I'm running Spark, it does much less damage. Man, that arm motion is very uncomfortable to watch. It's extremely uncomfortable. So I'm going against Swampert. And again, my plan is no shield. Hopefully get a shield. And let's see how they're going to play this out. They decide to no shield. And to be honest, I'm surprised that I got off the Sky Attack before the 3rd Hydro Cannon. It kind of makes sense, but kind of not still. And they actually fade me down, which I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah, clearly they have more than enough energy. They go for a Sludge Wave, which would have been awesome if I no shield that Sludge Wave. That would, it still would hit a lot. I'm curious because it double resists because of the Ghost and Poison typing. No stab on the Sludge Wave. It would have did 41 damage. So it did about 40%. It still would have hurt. So I switch out to Lanturn. And I'm hoping that I can KO this Altaria. It actually goes for a Sky Attack, which I resist. So I decided not to shield. And then there goes the Thunderbolt. And I forget what they come in with. They actually do a switch. I decided to shield this Sky Attack because it also put me pretty low. It ended up being a Dragon Pulse. And then here comes Registeel. I forget what happened in this matchup. Oh yeah, I did this absolutely monstrous switch. You see that switch? That is a monstrous switch. I'm gonna compliment that switch, and I think I'm gonna lose the race to the charge move. So I go for the Shadow Punch to put it pretty low, and I definitely would not have got it off. And this leaves me in like perfect farm range for Lanturn, and then I can just straight up Thunderbolt this Altaria. That was, I'm gonna say, that was one of the best switches. Actually, I do a pretty awesome switch a little bit later on, so you're gonna see that in a little bit. And Skarmory into Azumarill. So if it's a Hydro Pump variant, I'm gonna lose. If it's an Ice Beam variant, I'm gonna win. So I'm gonna look to land the Sky Attack. If they do the Ice Beam, the Charge Beam at the same time, I know it's gonna be an Ice Beam. Otherwise, I know it's gonna be a Hydro Pump, so I switch out. I don't know if this is the right play. And it probably they're actually switching to Reggie Steel. And I was like, okay, I'm going to survive this regardless. And I probably debatably should have gone 2 Thunderbolts. I don't think I get to 2 Thunderbolts anyways. Maybe. Probably, actually. And then 2 Thunderbolts would put some shield pressure onto Registeel. I'm curious. That's something I need to work on when using Lanturn. When his 2 Thunderbolts would do about 20 more damage. It would take out about 60% of Registeel's health. So I'm looking to farm pretty aggressively. And I think I misplay this one. Okay, I go for the Shadow Ball. I don't know why I went Shadow Ball. I should have went Shadow Punch. Like this Azumarill is already pretty low. So I go for another Shadow Punch. And I switch out, hoping to catch an Ice Beam. And then I think it ends up being a Hydro Pump. And they have a Alolan Marowak, and I'm like, yeah, there's not really much play I can have here. Hopefully I can get off 2 Sky Attacks. That would be very ideal. But they end up just going for the Shadow Ball. And I debate farming down. I probably should have farmed down. Because I ended up being... Oh, man, so close. That bubble right before I get the energy is what's fainted me. So I end up going 3-2 in that set. But close matches. So Skarmory versus Medicham. So I feel pretty good about this matchup. I'm going to no shield. Hoping that they power up punch or ice punch. And then a little bit of lag. And then I go for the Sky Attack, which should draw the shield. And it does. And then I'm like, okay, just another power up punch. And then I get to the Sky Attack. And we're going to see they actually no shield. I probably would have switched into Haunter if they if they continued to no shield. So I feel pretty good right now. I'm going to land this Sky Attack. It's going to do a decent amount of damage. And they switch out into Shift Tree. And I actually was like, oh my gosh, the Shift Tree is absolutely walls my back of my lineup. So I'm going to go into Haunter. I'm like, at least I can do some damage with these Shadow Claws. And I debate. I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be a Foul Play or Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade probably would do enough along with the Snarls to KO. So I go for the Shadow Punch. And I purposely make it seem like a Shadow Punch so they don't shield. And I'm going to shield again. Because, again, this has too much health. And then I debate farming down, but they're right at the amount of energy they need. So I'm like, I can't risk it. They ended up no shielding, which is absolutely amazing for me. They come with Azumarill, hit the charge move. Like this literally couldn't go any better. And I go into Lanturn, and then I basically can just double Thunderbolt, and then win the match. I think they go play rough here. And I'm going to be able to survive another play rough. So totally fine. And they realize that. And they decide to end the match early, which makes sense. Saves them a little bit of time. Go Battle League sets take quite a long time. Half an hour to do 5 battles, I find. Around half an hour. Finding the battles, like exiting, collecting the rewards, all that stuff takes some time. So, again, I'm in this dilemma. If they have Hydro Pump, I'm going to lose this matchup. I probably should just stay in, to be honest, and then farm up with Lanturn later. I don't know. Questionable strategies by me. So they end up being Ice Beam. So I know I'm going to win CMP, and then... but we're both kind of playing chicken, like who's going to shield first. So I end up lagging a little bit there. And then the Ice Beam comes through, and I go for the Sky Attack, and I need to hit every bubble. And then I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to race down. And I end up surviving with 1 HP, which is amazing. But then I'm like, oh, God, they have a Haunter. This is not amazing for me. And I'm like, okay, my only play is if I faint down, I have energy. And I'm like, I'm actually shocked that I couldn't faint down. I guess the Shadow Claws do so much, but I should be able to get a Shadow Claw through. So I have a couple ways I can win this. One, they go for the Flash Cannon for some reason, and I don't shield it. So I'm like, oh, this felt too early for a Focus Blast. And it ends up being a Flash Cannon, which absolutely does nothing. And I should have shielded this move. And then I go for the Thunderbolt. And I forget what happened here. This is... End up having to shield the Flash Cannon, which is fine. And I'm not sure they were lagging there. Not really sure. So they end up... And then I was totally thinking that I was going to lose. But I think they tried to go for the Focus Blast. And then I was able to beat them. I don't know. I've been getting a lot of these like visual glitches where like I can't see my fast move. So I don't know. It was weird. I go into this next match against Super, and I go Skarmory into Grand Ball, which is a very favorable matchup for me. And they go into Wishcash, which is also a favorable matchup. Because these Blizzards are only going to do neutral damage. And if I can not fall for the Mud Bomb bait, that'd be amazing. I don't fall for the Mud Bomb bait. And if I shield the Blizzard, it'll be absolutely amazing for me. So I decide to shield. And that's great. Works out very well for me. And I go for the Sky Attack, which is going to do quite a bit of damage. And then at this point in time, I can just farm down. I don't need to worry about another Blizzard coming through. They actually just throw the Mud Bomb, which makes sense on their end. And then I'm going to look to farm down. Now I have a good amount of energy. And they come into a Alolan Marowak. And I think I wait a little bit too long. Well, I get to another Sky Attack, which would put shield pressure onto this Alolan Marowak. And then I realize my health is too low. I can't stay in. I decide to come in with Haunter. And they go for the Bone Club. And they switch out into Grand Ball. And but I'm in a very good situation right now. I still have a shield. They're gonna have to throw the charge move. Oh, actually, I have no shield. They should just back-to-back Bone Club me, to be honest. Yeah, they should just back-to-back Bone Club. So I'm gonna come into with Lanturn, and basically I can just Spark down. Even like a Shadow Ball wouldn't be enough to KO, and these Fire Spins are resisted. They go for the Bone Club. Yeah, I'm able to Spark down. And I can't remember if this is the last match or the second, maybe the second last match. I think it's the second last match. And we end up in the Skarmory Mirror again. Again, I know I'm going to lose the Skarmory Mirror. They switch out into Registeel. So I switch out into Haunter. And, you know, I was watching Zionic's video, and so many people didn't shield the first charge move. So I'm like, okay, maybe if I go for Shadow Wall, I can KO this Registeel, and then I'll be in a very great situation. They end up shielding. I was like, come on. So I build up for another one, and then I decide, oh, this is where I end up losing the next match. But this match I think I win because I pull off this. Watch this amazing switch. So first off, I double Shadow Punch. And then I pull off this is one of the best switches into a Skarmory. That's awesome. And now I can farm down this Registeel with a Skarmory. And that's awesome. Very excited about that. Here comes Medicham. And this puts me in like a great position. I'm gonna, obviously I can't shield. I have no more left. And they go for the Ice Punch. I probably should have just farmed down, but it's quite alright. And then I switch out to Lanturn, and it's like pretty much a wrap. The Thunderbolt's not going to KO, surprisingly. Skarmory has some like pretty good bulk on it, so it makes sense. And I'm going to overcharge a little bit. I'm not sure why, but the Thunderbolt's not going to KO. It's going to do like 75%. And then I need to do a couple more sparks to KO anyways. So, Lanturn's really good against Azumarill, against decent against Registeel, decent against Altaria, very good against Skarmory, obviously. So again, I'm in this matchup, and I think I know what happens. I do the switch thing because I know that they have a Hydro Pump Azumarill. I should stop doing this, to be honest, because I have a Lanturn afterwards. Like, after I land the two, if I go into the no shield scenario, this ends up being Hydro Pump. If I go into the no shield scenario, then I can just, anyways, it just put me in a not great position. And we end up lagging a little bit, but that's fine. They're going to get it off. And I come back into Skarmory, and I'm lagging, and then all of a sudden they throw an Earthquake at me. Like, you saw how much health I got taken away? Ugh, so frustrating. Getting Earthquaked. And now I'm like, so first off, we CMP tie again. I was like, oh god, this is the worst. I probably should undercharge this Sky Attack. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. To try to get a few more in. So I can put up a better fight against this Azumarill. Like, I would have been able to get off 2 Sky Attacks against this Azumarill. And that would have put me in a very good position. And they actually end up farming me down. And I was like, oh, God. And then the last part is just mind games. But to be honest, I need to... you'll see it in a little bit. I have to shield again. Yeah, I'm like, please last Pokemon be like Medicham, for example. Then I can just double Shadow Punch and KO it. So I'm like about 60% health. I ran the sim afterwards. So I have to land a Shadow Punch bait and then a Shadow Ball and anyways, so I go for the Shadow Ball, hoping that they think it's another bait. Ends up not working, and then I'm just short, and I wasn't going to get it. So GG, well played by my opponent. Anyways, I think this is a really good team. I really enjoyed playing it. I think obviously Haunter is always really effective, but Lanturn, really flexible. This team's obviously weak to Mud Boys in the back, so something that you need to be careful of, like Swampert would beat all three of these Pokemon, but you know, you can kind of play around it. I face a few Swamperts, so anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.